Hi, my name is Jerry Gagne, and I'm doing this video as part of my attempt to win your support for another term as the as the president of the National Pigeon Association. I ran for the board a few years ago and realized how important every vote is. When I ran for vice president a number of years ago, I lost the election by one vote. So if you're on the border of whether you should vote or not vote, please take the time to do it. One vote, one member, it's just so important. As I said, I hope you all vote, and it really doesn't matter if you vote for me, although I hope you do. I do hope you'll just take the time to vote for your favorite candidate. When I became president a year and a half ago, there were about 900 members in the NPA. I'm proud to say now, with the help of the board, the members, NPA secretary, we've got our membership up to 1,300 people. So we've increased membership in just a year and a half by 45%. So I think we must be doing something right. Membership applications are also being sent out as we speak for renewals. They're not all sent out at one time. That's why some people were wondering why they haven't received them. But I got an email today from Samantha, the secretary, and she tells me she's just sent out 300 renewal forms and 400 more have to be mailed out. As you can imagine, it takes a while to send that many ballots out. If you've taken the time to take a look at our website, I think you'll be impressed. If you haven't, please take a couple of minutes to do it. It's a completely new website that we developed last year, beginning of this year, thanks to Paul Lipinski, who's chairperson on this website, and Jeff Kapp, who is our webmaster. Lots of current information. It changes regularly. It isn't like some websites that just sit there with the same information all the time. In fact, I just sent a change in today to Paul. If you have anything you want to be on the website, all you have to do is get a hold of Paul Lipinski. If you need his contact information, just give me a call and I'll supply it to you and we'll get it to Jeff. The Legacy Fund Trust, I wanted to talk a little bit about. Some of you are aware of it. Quite a few have made donations. It's very, very important to the financial future of the NPA. Right now we have approaching $26,000 to $28,000 in invested accounts. That's going to be used for future projects for the NPA. It's very simple. The money, unless you specifically request the money be spent on something, the money is invested very conservatively. Then as the interest grows and as we get bigger and bigger, if there is a project that needs to be funded and regular NPA funds don't make sense or we don't have it, then the Legacy Trust will step in and any request for funds will be studied by the trustees. Then the approval would go to the board, and the board, it's important to know, the board controls the disposition of the funds under the leadership of the trust itself. For the first time, I think ever, maybe not ever, but the first time in many years, the NPA actually has a budget. The board itself sat down with the budget with the help of Fred Toki, creating a budget. Worked a long time to do it, and we finally hammered it out. And we presented it to the membership at the general meeting. And at that general meeting, I was surprised that one of our well-known members stood up and wanted to know why we needed a budget. But from a business standpoint, no group of any size can operate without a budget. You have to know where your money's going, and you have to allocate it based on the money that's coming in. And I was very pleased that another member stood up and said that he couldn't understand why we hadn't had a budget before and was surprised that we didn't. So for the membership, we do have a budget and we will stay with it every year. We'll stay within our budget. We just made a change in the junior director position. We did that not because the junior director wasn't, the current one wasn't able to do what needed to be done. It was the problem of communications. In today's world, if a junior director doesn't have an email address, the young people just aren't going to pick up the phone and call him. The current one who had to step down, and he did it without any problem. He thought it was best. Just couldn't get email into where he lived. He lived in a remote area. So I'm proud to announce that Lonnie Medford is now our junior director for the NPA. Lonnie, if you were at the Grand National in Ontario, California, was in charge of juniors there, and he just did a great job. You'll see an article by Lonnie in the next issue of the Quarterly, and he's already suggested some ideas and an old fogey like me would have never thought of, but Lonnie's on the younger side, and I think he'll do a great job. And while I'm talking about juniors, your board voted to double the scholarship money now, henceforth. It was always $750. The board decided to increase that. In fact, we doubled it to $1,500. Last year, 2014, we awarded 3 $2,000 scholarships, although the number is normally 2. We had an unusual circumstance with a student, and we expanded it from 2 to 3. The fact that we never had an audit, or at least never had an official audit, always struck me as strange for an organization like us and for old-timers with the history we have. So the board voted to have a professional audit done every 3 years. That means that a CPA from an accounting firm will come in and spend the time to audit the books of the National Pigeon Association. And then the 2 years in between, in other words, every 3 years it will be done professionally. The 2 years in between will also be audited, but it'll be a much more casual audit. But I think it's very, very important. We're financially probably as strong as the NPA has been for years and years. We've got enough money to pay our bills and pay our bills on time. We're going to start doing some advertising in areas that perhaps we haven't advertised before, because when we advertise in the Quarterly, we're sort of preaching to a group who are already members. So we're looking at advertising in poultry magazines, farm magazines, things like that. Letting them know that there's a group like the National Pigeon Association. We're going to get more involved with 4-H also. So we're looking for some real good things from the marketing division. I spoke to Paul Lipinski today, and he had a great idea, and we'll be talking about that idea at the next board meeting. This is what I call communications with you, whoever you are watching this particular video. But I wanted you to know that when I ran for president the last time, I promised you that we would open up communications, and we've done that with a number of emails. The board, which met at most 2, maybe 3 times a year, now meets at a minimum of 3 times a year via telecommunications, and we've also had 2 special meetings. So in 1 year we met 14 times. I don't know, and it seems like 14 times wasn't enough. Some of the meetings go fairly long because there's so much to discuss. So the board is hard-working, and we're going to continue to do that. I've spoke with the American Racing Pigeon Union, the International Federation of Pigeon Racers, and I've talked to some of the clubs under the auspices of the NPA. And I will tell you they're excited. The AU and the IF want to get together with us so that we can operate as one front, and that's on the horizon too. We have 2 vice presidents, and I want to be very, very frank. I favor 2 of them. If you're going to elect me, I hope you'll consider voting for Roger Hansen. Roger has a long history in pigeons, and he is currently the Western Vice President. I appointed him to fill the spot that Ori Moore stepped down from. So Roger has been hard at work and really done some good things. The other one for Eastern Vice President, I hope you'll consider Andrew France. Andrew is a business owner, a pigeon person. He is president of local clubs, involved in local clubs on a regular basis in the Northeast, and I think we need some strong representation from the Northeast. So I hope you'll vote for Roger Hansen and Andrew France. That's pretty much it. I wanted to spend a couple of minutes because of the timing. The avian flu influenza has struck the whole United States. I was on a teleconference call yesterday with over 200 experts in the field, all the different fields, from people who raise chickens to to falcons, to pheasants, all different representatives. The United States Department of Agriculture attended, and a lot of the people in government attended also. This is the worst avian influenza outbreak in the history of the United States. They've already killed 40 million chickens plus, and it's not going to stop. Some states have been quarantined or shut down. What that means is that, for instance, Minnesota, Paul Lipinski is the one that stepped up initially and made your board aware of it. The Minnesota state is closed. You can't show pigeons, you can't race pigeons, you can't move a pigeon out of state, you can't bring a pigeon in. You literally are not supposed to move a pigeon across the street. Very, very strict. It's until the end of the year, which, unless something changes quickly, means there'll be no shows in Minnesota. And I've received word that other states are following suit. New York has already done it. I understand Iowa is doing it. So it's not good news, but it is what it is. We're crossing our fingers. The Grand National is in Massachusetts. The Northeast corridor is the least affected. No birds have been affected in the Northeast. So we're hoping that Massachusetts will still have its show, and I hope you'll watch the quarterly for news on that. The good news is, I spoke directly to the USDA yesterday on the call, and they assured me that even though chickens and turkeys are being, they call it depopulated, killed is what they're saying, pigeons are not part of that process, have absolutely no thought of depopulation of the pigeon hobby, and pigeons are the least susceptible to the avian flu that is currently in the United States. Although the government calls pigeons poultry, we are not, and we're working on changing that. But please, don't panic, keep your pigeons. If you can't show them, it's just 1 year. The United States has gone through this before, and they've come through very strong. So don't panic, keep those pigeons. As your president, I ask you as a member, if you would like to get involved in the NPA, please contact me. We always have need for committee people, and you'd be a way to get involved, and who knows, maybe the next step is the board, and maybe the next step is to replace myself. If you want to volunteer, or if you want more information about the avian flu, I hope you'll write this phone number down. I'm going to hesitate just a moment, so if you don't have a pen or pencil, please get it. I'll repeat my phone number. This is my home, 724-359-5355. Once more, my home phone number, 724-359-5355. It is my home. I hope you'll show me the courtesy of not calling much after 7 o'clock. But I do take calls all day long from my home. My email address is pretty easy. My first initial is J for Jerry. My last name is Gagne. It's spelled G-A-G-N-E. So my email address is J-G-A-G-N-E @ZoomInternet, all one word with a Z, .net. I'm going to close with this just to express my feelings. As a board and mostly as your president, I have had one failure. I'm working on it, but I'm truly of the belief that the Home Office has let you down. We've had some communication problems, membership applications not being responded to, phone calls not being responded to. We'll say it's better than it was. It's getting better. And if you have concerns or questions or complaints, please contact me. But I assure you, if I'm re-elected as your president, I will take care of the matter. We will have better communications in the Home Office. It should have been taken care of by now, and for that I apologize. But I assure you, it will get better. Thank you very much for listening, and once again, I hope you'll consider voting for Jerry Gagne as president of the NPA. Thank you.